welcome everyone again. Welcome, my dear ladies. Today we are discussing a very interesting topic, feminine communication and what it is. It can be even a little bit triggering, can be a bit vulnerable. But before we start, who am I? Just couple words. My name is Elena, and I know Veronica, who founded this relationship school for many years, and I started my own journey as a relationship coach about 6 years ago. I've been into wellness, fitness, yoga, spirituality, tantra for many years, over 20 years, but like specifically last 6 years I've been focusing on relationships after my another heartbreak that kind of got me into that state. Okay, I need to figure this out. I'm also participating in the dynamics, so that's how I started, and I did my Mars Venus relationship coaching, and from then I dived into different teachings, studied with some amazing practitioners in that area, tantric, psychology, some famous, some not so famous. Maybe you know, like David Deida, Alison Armstrong. But anyways, I don't want to make it all about what I did. Okay, so let's get into a topic today. When I say feminine communication, what comes in mind first? And as you maybe put a couple words there, I'll tell you a little story that happened to me not that long ago, that kind of got me a little bit traumatized around that, I would say, in my own way, because one of my friends, she was experiencing problems in her marriage, and I was watching some video on feminine communication, and I just sent it to her. Didn't think twice. I was like, oh, here's some video on feminine communication that might help you. And I didn't expect that reaction, because she got really upset and triggered, because she said that, oh, again, you put in everything on women, it's the whole system problem, and you participate in, you think women need to fix everything. So I got a little bit of lash out. Good thing we are good friends and we're good, but there is that thing about feminine communication that you might think it's, oh, like I just need to be soft, I need to be flexible, I need to be agreeable, and that can be like really triggering, but really that's not what we're talking about. I mean, part of it is, but it's not the fullness of that. So I see you put in here magnetism. Exactly, that's where we're gonna get into softness. Absolutely, it's definitely part of it, but it comes not from weakness but from strength, and we'll talk about that. Okay, so before we continue, let me share. I actually prepared a little presentation, mostly to keep myself on track, because as I said, I do want to make it interactive. Okay, so you already put here, like, if you're single, if you are dating. So let's see again, based on what you wrote to me as well, and on a previous webinars as well, because again, some of you I've seen before, and you probably heard me talking about like inner alchemy, Queen's alchemy. I'll definitely get into that again, because even like feminine communication, it's not really a quick fix or something like some tactics or manipulations, right? It's definitely an identity shift. But we'll get into this from both perspective, internal and external too. So bringing that awareness to both, to our inner state and to our behavior. So you might recognize yourself currently. So maybe you date, and your date starts with some potential, and then they lose spark. You might initially even attract men who don't even pursue or lead, who kind of play in this hot and cold, seem unavailable or avoidant. And maybe if you recognize yourself in one of these, put the number so I can just see like where are we at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you're in that state, like you often overthink what to say or text or how to be on a date, find yourself maybe like in an awkward kind of situation, or maybe you feel in control instead of being relaxed and desired. You feel like it's all on you. And if you're in relationship, you feel again it's kind of all on you. You have to carry this, like the whole emotional part of it, and intimacy fades, and you wonder why, and you wonder if you can bring that spark back. And the good news, yes, you can. And who is it for? Because some of you actually ask me like, oh, is it only for business women? Because somehow you thought I only coach business women. When I say that it is for self-aware, ambitious women, it's with the specific reason, because coaching is only productive for women who already taken responsibility for themselves, right? And that already kind of we all gonna like fall into this wounded child sometimes here and there in the victim state. It's so deep inside of us, but at least we have the awareness and we don't blame it on the outside world. So that's what I mainly mean when I say that I work with ambitious, self-aware women. It's just I want you to be in that state, and we'll actually talk about that's going to be a big part of this presentation today. It's what state we communicate from, what kind of consciousness level, and also what archetypes. Again, if you've done some work with me before, you know I talk a lot about archetypes, and that's why I talk about Queen, because that's that archetype that kind of embraces them all, and it's very like rooted in dignity and worthiness and presence. So we'll talk about that today. And yes, if you still really like to blame external world, you might not like it today, like, because it's I am a strong believer that we need to the change has to happen within us, and then the world reflects it back to us. And yes, I also want to just to kind of acknowledge that, like, I see it and I hear this pain. It's like really that exhaustion from over functioning, like chasing even energetically, and this like feeling that pain of that separation, and not feeling chosen or cherished, and that comes from that attracting an unavailable partner, feeling like you carry the weight of the relationship. And let's just talk a bit about that desire. So before we get too deep into what's going wrong, let's connect with the state we want to be in. So how do you want to feel in your relationships? Because you even might feel like, okay, I'm just good on my own, and that's totally like, it's very common these days for women. It's just like, I'm good on my own. But really, if you tap into your heart desire, because even from that state you still want connection. So how do you want to feel in relationships? So I put here like to feel chosen. I would also say met, maybe not so like chosen, but the next step even like met, energetically, emotionally, relaxing into love. Okay, well, I'm gonna see what you put here. Rather caring men, anxious attachment, but they don't have a goal. Yeah, sometimes that's a very good point. Sometimes we attract like a passive man, a man who already like they're just not into their masculine, or your own masculine, like your ambition, your drive, your success is stronger than theirs, and that's not gonna work as well. And that's why it has to be the identity level shift. Although today we're talking about communication, but it comes with that identity level shift, because it's what we attract, and attraction happens from within, right? While I'm just gonna run ahead a little bit just because I see this comment. So why we even attract those passive anxious, even anxious men, because they are stuck in their feminine and in their wounded child. So they come as that polarity, because like for attraction happen, we need polarity. And when you're in in your strong masculine, without knowing how to lean into your feminine and how to communicate from your feminine, you're gonna be keep attracting this type of men who in their wounded feminine, and that it can be as they are anxious, or yeah, like you are the breadwinner, or they might express that feminine side and not being in their masculine by being kind of go with the flow, not taking responsibility, being inconsistent. That's not masculine. And again, if you're attracting it, you are probably in your masculine armor. Doesn't mean you're not feminine, but again, we so sometimes scared to relax into feminine that we stuck in that masculine armor and we attract from that. Let's go further. And so this is common in today's world and in today's dating and relationship, because as women we are getting more into our power, which is beautiful. I talk about that a lot, that it's great. It's a prerequisite for a beautiful relationship in the future. First, we need to get into our own strong masculine. There is no way around it. We cannot be satisfied anymore in codependent style of relationship. So, but often what happens, we just get there and we think that's it. So we are in a strong masculine, we're in an armor, we're in that warrior archetype that we'll get into today. And we sometimes go between the two, between the wounded child and the warrior. So we either get a bit into codependent dynamic, and by that I mean your inner child might be triggered and you start chasing, you start overthinking, over texting, or you just in that warrior, in that armor, you're not even ready to soften into feminine and open your heart. And this connection will either attract feminine man, or it's going to be that 50-50 dynamic that might feel okay, like a good friendship in the first, but then it's not going to be satisfying as well, because it doesn't have the polarity, it doesn't have the juiciness. I don't find man I'm attracted to. That's again very common when we are in that masculine armor, and I feel like this is epidemic actually. Most of us, we in that masculine armor, because at least we feel okay, I'm safe here. And then of course it's just like you cannot even notice men who are in their masculine, because right, you just don't even attract masculine, same polarity, repel. They are around, they are, but you don't even see them and they don't see you, because it's energetic. Hope it resonates with you. I come a lot from the tantric energetic background, but hope you understand that it's not just like woo-woo stuff. This is all quantum physics, it's all like law of attraction as well, and it does work. And again, it's not to blame anyone. This is so like totally perfect timing, and it's all normal. And more than that, it's actually essential. I see it as an essential step of our evolution, and as women as well, right? Going from that kind of weak, suppressed feminine, going into our own inner masculine, and like taking the lead, connecting to our power, allowing ourselves to be driven, successful. But again, what's next? Because often you just don't even see men who you're attracted to. So that's the agenda for today. That's the slide. Okay. So we're gonna talk about how men and women fall in love, the hidden communication patterns, gifts and shadows of different archetypes. So it's what archetype we mostly function in, and we come on like in a dating world, or even just just being in the world in this archetype will create certain dynamic. Okay, I'm reading um, some notes here. I can absolutely resonate with it. Just to know how to put down the armor. Yes, we'll talk about that when it comes from very powerful. Yes, okay. So we'll talk about this today. How to put the armor. Because the thing is, we think that if we put the armor, we're gonna go back into that weak state. So, internally, we still have the belief that if we put the armor, then that feminine softness equal weakness. So then I'm just open and vulnerable, and I'm gonna be hurt again. So we're gonna talk today how to put the armor from different state of being, and that's the identity shift, and that comes from that. I call it Queen's Alchemy path, because that queen is the archetype which we want to step into, the one that has strong masculine, but she's so rooted in her worthiness and her dignity that she knows that her own inner masculine will protect her, so she feels safe to relax into her feminine, allow herself, really, she developed that new appreciation for her own inner feminine. She doesn't see it as weakness. She allows herself to flow, to soften, and really to be herself. The feminine communication is not about performance. I don't want you to think that I just going to give you some tricks today. We'll talk how that behavior may show up, and what you can become aware in how you communicate with men. But definitely it's more about from that new state of being, where you just so accepting who you are, knowing who you are, that you can relax into that state and function from that. And from that, relaxation is a big one. Often these days women don't allow themselves to be relaxed, but only from that relaxation pleasure is possible, joy is possible, the great communication, the feminine communication, only possible from the state of that relaxation. Because again, we don't want to fake it, we don't want to perform, we want to allow ourselves to feel, to flow, to express the full spectrum of who we are. Okay, so I already been talking about the modern dating dynamic, what happens. So what also happening, right? As women, as we embody more of the masculine, men also doing their work, although it doesn't seem like it sometimes. I know, but they are doing their work. They actually accepting their own inner feminine, and that's a very important step as well for them. But often then we see them stuck in their feminine, right? They also don't know how to then come back to their masculine. So that's why it's so common. We kind of, most of us don't want to go to codependence, although we still fall back and forth sometimes. And then what happens, then we try to be all this too independent. That often doesn't work as well. Well, it never works for a long time, because even if you again you decide from your head, okay, this is great partner, we're great friends, we really get each other, but there is no polarity, right? We still need to learn, although that's already progressive dynamic. There will be just next step from it. Okay, so let's talk about 3 consciousness level and several different archetypes. So just you have a bit of that framework that I'm coming from, right? So you understand what I'm talking about. So I put 3 levels of consciousness here. So first one, and I said levels of consciousness of feminine communication, but it can be masculine as well. They have their own 3 levels. So we can come to communication or to the dynamic from that state of wounded child, right? When we haven't really addressed our own shadows. We haven't healed internally the dynamic between our own inner masculine and inner feminine, and therefore the product of that inner child. I call it shadow of the princess archetype. We'll talk about different archetype, but princess is a beautiful archetype. Like we want it. We don't want to exclude any archetypes. And as a queen, you'll know you'll have them all. So princess is that younger part of you. She's playful, she's fresh, she's sensual. She is very receptive, which is a great quality that lots of modern women, we've been trained out of it. So the princess has that. But the shadow of the princess, she comes out as again, it comes from the wounded child, from unmet needs, maybe during your childhood. And if we haven't dealt with this yet, that's how it comes out in the relationship dynamic. You'll be more like demanding, entitled, maybe nagging, maybe trying to close some of your needs with that relationship, thinking that you really need the man to survive. So that's the shadow of the princess, and it's from that codependent dynamic that most of us, let's be honest, we had experience with that. I know I had. My first marriage was that. And so, and even more than that, when we grow up and we get into our adult self and we uplift a level of consciousness, doesn't mean we're never gonna go back into wounded child. It's more about that awareness, because again, the healing is a process. We're never gonna be completely healed. It's more about being aware of that part of us and know how to deal with it, how to treat it. But let's say, like in dating dynamic, if we haven't addressed this, you might think like, oh, I'm anxiously attached. But that's just, again, that dynamic from within yourself, when you haven't learned how to keep your center, how to have your own back, how to have your standards, how to know your non-negotiables and all of that. But it starts from the deep healing, from holding space for your own inner child and not projecting that wound on your partner, on your dating partner. Because even when you start again worrying on the day, like during your dating, becoming anxious, that's all of that inner child wounds. And it doesn't make you wrong, it just actually gives you an opportunity to look at it again, because it comes out to be healed. But we definitely don't want to attract a partner from that level of consciousness. So then the next level of consciousness, they said it's adult, and the archetype would be warrior. But this is not the exact correlation. So the level of consciousness and the archetype is not exact correlation, it's just an example. Because adult, that level of consciousness, adult, when you take responsibility for your own emotions, for your own well-being, you address the inner dynamic, your inner family, you're kind of reparenting your own inner child. So that's more that wholesome. So you're addressing your wholeness as well, which is really important step. I feel like as a humanity, that's where what we're working on. It's becoming whole within ourselves. It's a very, very important step. And in my inner alchemy, that's a big part of it as well. And that's the inner union, the tantric practice. That's one of the direct ways into that wholeness. It's when we unite, we reunite our inner masculine and inner feminine. We take the blueprint, the energetic blueprint from the divine, from that original harmonious love blueprint, and we work with that. So it's really what I found, that's the fastest way to rewire that inner dynamic from which we attract. Why I put warrior archetype there, although again it can be different. So warrior is where most of conscious, again, ambitious women find themselves in, because at work, in your business, in your career, doesn't matter if you don't run your own business, it's not about that, it's how you show up in the world. You had to embody all this like important masculine warrior like qualities, like the drive, the ambition, the structure, the discipline, to be really organized, to be persuasive, to do as you say, like, right? It's all beautiful qualities that we need to succeed in this world, and in business, in your career, in life overall. Without these qualities, it's impossible. It used to be possible again when we were in the codependent dynamic, but the times for that are over, right? So now we need to embrace that wholeness. And again, it starts usually with the being in that warrior. And we get comfortable in that. But the thing is, especially for women, for men, it's not that bad because it's masculine and it's good for them to be in their masculine. It works really well for their testosterone. So it works really well for their well-being to be in that warrior state most of the time, actually. But for women, because our hormonal system is very different, so, and as like, well, we are young, we're okay being in that warrior state for a long time, but then eventually it comes out as all sorts of health issue, hormonal imbalance, adrenal fatigue. All of that is because we don't know how to put that armor down, how to relax into your feminine. It's not the most natural state for us as women, so we can be in that space for a really long time, because it is like, it feels good, it's independence, you got your own back, you know, you got your own sword, like you're ready to show up in the world. And again, if we in this state most of the time, we cannot attract the right partner. And even in relationship, what I see sometimes, like with my clients, that they got the partner because we did the work, we did that inner union, we stepped into like queen archetype. Again, it's a lot easier for women who already like embodying their wholeness, right? That's what it's about. But then by default, like you go to work, your business, all of that, and you get into that warrior state, and often it's this like that masculine overdrive, and you get into that stress state, like you constantly doing, you're constantly worrying, like what's next. You don't even celebrate your achievements. It's always like what's next. And same issues start coming up in the relationship, because she's like, yes, I have the partner, but I can't even relax and enjoy it. So this is like actually it's constant work too, but it's beautiful work. It's reminding yourself how what it is to be a woman, and that this is your birthright to actually relax. There is sometimes we feel guilty when we take time for ourselves, like to relax, to take care, to do nothing. How many women allow themselves to do nothing? You feel guilty, you feel like you're wasting your time, you need to be useful, you need to be doing something, right? Okay, so let's move on. We'll get to the queen in a bit. I still want to talk a bit more about the princess and the warrior. Actually, I did say about that already, right? So the princess, the shadow of the princess energy is trying, proving. It's like looking for validation. You always want to know, like, oh, okay, how am I received? Am I convenient enough, right? Like being convenient. That's the shadow of the princess. We don't want to be convenient. Queen is not convenient, and queen doesn't wait. She's not seeking. So really as queen, we're just taking care of our own inner world, meeting our own needs. So we're not looking for that external validation, especially from men. But when you're in the princess, it's actually feminine, so you can attract a partner, but what kind of a partner? Often it would be something like, can be something even abusive. And even if not, the attraction will fade with that kind of dynamic, because it's not long term, it's not attractive for a man. Yeah, it can be like a cool girl or good girl performing. I feel like I want to talk about how men and women fall in love, but okay, let's address the warrior a bit more. So as I said, so the warrior level 2 consciousness energy, it's more about controlling the dynamic. Oh yeah, okay, we haven't talked about this yet. It's how it actually shows up in the communication, right? So the princess shows up, she can be flirty, she can be like giggly and all of that, but underneath, again, it's that a bit of like anxiety, a bit of worrying, if she's liked. Now the warrior showed up very, very differently. It's like more, it does feel more confident. It's more like 50-50, can be a bit guarded, very logical. Lots of women, I've heard even in some my classes before here, some of the ladies said, but like, what if I know my facts better? Like, he should just know his facts. I'm like, okay, but does it make you happy? Just show up, okay, I know my facts. And now you're competing with him, and now he feels defeated, and what's the point? Like, is that the point of your dating? Can you satisfy that thing somewhere else? I mean, it can be playful, it can be fun, but really that warrior dynamic, as every other archetype, a bit of warrior is good even in your dating dynamic. But if you're stuck in that, like competing, 50-50, logic, and even the way you talk from that archetype and from that level of consciousness would be a bit dry, right? It's more about, again, facts, logic. Where did you go? What did you do? It's like giving like those straightforward answers, kind of resume like. It's straightforward, so it seems like it's kind of safe zone. It may be a safe zone, but this safe zone misses polarity, misses like any of that fun, flirtation, and juiciness. I want to know, so far, where do you find yourself usually, if any of that resonates with you? Put 1 for Shadow of the Princess and put 2 for Warrior. Put 1 and 2 if it's both. Now let's see. Two. Yeah. Warrior, and sometimes back. Yes, that's so common. It's usually we go between those two. Yeah, so I see mostly 2, but if we are honest, it's sometimes 1, sometimes 2, right? Okay. Yes, 1 and 2. So let's talk. So what is next? What is next? What is that level 3? So I put here Queen communication. So it's a level of consciousness of Queen, or the wholeness. But the wholeness already, we started to get into the wholeness into level 2, right? And into that adult self, it's already wholeness when we take in responsibility, meaning our own masculine strong, so our own masculine is strong, but from that level we still don't completely see the value of a feminine. That's a big one. Often as women we so fight for like feminine rights, but if we look inside, its own inner masculine is there, but we still don't value our own inner feminine. So this queen consciousness, or level 3 consciousness, starts when from that consciousness, from the strong inner masculine, we now start appreciating our own inner feminine with so much more love. We just see how valuable it is. And from the tantric perspective, the Shiva masculine consciousness, and we all have it, right? So that stillness, that's why it's so important to cultivate stillness in men and women. So that stillness is masculine, and it's just that cosmic consciousness. In our bodies, this is a structure, this is a stability. In a psychic, this is an ability to hold space for ourselves. It's that witness consciousness. Every meditation practice, if it's not like guided fun meditation, but the actual meditation practice, the ancient one, it comes from stillness and the state of observer. So that holding space for yourself, for your thoughts, for your emotions, for your feelings, this is your own inner masculine, and this is prerequisite. But then from that strong inner masculine, the masculine Shiva without Shakti is nothing. He is dead. So I want you to really feel into this state. Like that inner masculine is nothing without inner feminine. So the inner feminine is Shakti. And what is Shakti? Is ever changing, always flowing, always moving, always desiring more, longing for more. So those desires, longing, expansion, this is all feminine. Again, we're not talking about men and women here, right? This is like yin and yang forces, like masculine and feminine forces within all of us. But as women, we relate more to feminine. I would say it's like 80-20. And for the man, it's the other way around. So now from that perspective of the divine masculine looking into your own inner feminine, which is like you are his life, your actual life force, you the creative energy, you the desire energy, you the fun, pleasure, joy energy. Of course, like we value a feminine. So I want you to like really start looking differently at your own feminine, at your own softness, and your own relaxation, your own playfulness, and your own doing nothing, because that's when you can relax. All right. I can go with this Shiva Shakti forever. Let's come back to the level 3 consciousness. But that's what, inside we need to do this inner work, and that because it's like tantric, the spiritual path, it's more direct way towards that state. Because just from our head we can think ourselves like all day long, but we need to start feeling it, like embodying it. And it starts with the stillness, it starts with those meditations, and then getting into some feminine practices, pleasure practices, dance, movement, yoga, because feminine is the body, mind is masculine, body is feminine, again if we're talking from that yin yang perspective. So when we want to relax into our feminine and communicate from that, so we actually start attracting strong masculine in men. Most men have potential to be there, but we're not even invoking this in them. So we can only invoke it in them by relaxing into our own inner feminine, but from the queen's perspective, not into wounded princess, but from the queen's perspective, when we like know how worthy we are, just because we exist. Like every woman is a goddess. So we have to really put it in a psychic, into our bodies, into our hearts, and ground in this belief. So from that, like you show up with different energy. Your pace will slow down because queen doesn't need to rush. You have all the time in the world. This time is it's masculine. That's the warrior energy. We're taking the warrior head down, to taking the armor down. We don't need to rush. We can allow ourselves, we can permit yourself to slow down, to relax, to lean back. How often on the day do you like maybe go like this? Allow yourself to just lean back and move too. Like feminine is a movement. So relaxing and like not performing it, but noticing, like slowing down enough that you can actually feel your own breath, feel your own body, even on a date. We need to be able to do that because just that shift, going from your head, from thinking what you need to say or what not to say, or how you look, or whatever else comes to your mind, like all sorts of insecurities might show up there. But instead, we just allow ourselves relax into the body and allow yourself to feel. And actually, that's very important. Notice how you feel with that man. That's your main signal too. Like you'll know right away, like, are you comfortable in this energy? So that date is it's not for you to perform, it's not for you to make him like you, but it's not also just to interview him, obviously, right? That warrior can be like interviewing the person. It's more like enjoy your own being, your own body, your own presence, opening up the senses. Because like what is it for? This is mainly for your enjoyment. Like everything else comes secondary. This is your experience of life. And how often we just get stuck into our heads, we don't even allow ourselves to enjoy. So I'm inviting you to start dating from that perspective, just for fun, enjoyable dating experience, and just experiment. Go on a date and just like allow yourself to relax and receive and flow and just be really like, how am I feeling? Allowing yourself to allowing the poses. Don't rush to reply. Allow the eye contact. Like get really curious. Like this is like what is it, like a hidden sexual signals, right? Like, but that will come naturally. You see, like when you start relaxing to your own body, you like naturally gonna be like showing off a wrist or a neck or lips, you know, like your sensuality will be awakened, but not from that performance. It will be just your natural state, whatever is authentic to you, and we all have it. And the humor, the flirtation, I was thinking like, oh, should we talk about what flirting is? But flirting is really different. It depends on level of consciousness too. From level of queen, this is your own authentic thing. It can be that like a bit prolonged eye contact. Again, it can be something provoking too, because again, when we're in the queen consciousness, so let's talk again more about queen. All of the archetypes at a fingertips. So archetypes like princess, but not from the shadow, which is receptivity and softness and playfulness. Wild woman, the one who knows herself, who is adventurous, who is free in her spirit, right? You can talk from that. It doesn't mean that now you just like soft and like sending sensual signals. No, like you feel what's in the moment, and you have all these archetypes to play with. So let's do another one, like lover or seductress, when you connect to your senses and you allow. So what is this like main tantric practice about opening the senses? So you just allow yourself to feel, but forget for that there is prerequisite to be relaxed, because if you're not relaxed, you're not even noticing what you're feeling and what you. So opening the senses, like what are the sounds? Maybe you're in the park, you hear the birds, or you're in restaurants and there is soft music. Like allow yourself to actually like receive it, right? Receiving it, and then express it. Because man, they don't have, sorry man, they don't have as big spectrum of emotions to experience. They don't. They experience more through the woman. That's why they like us so much. They can experience more by connecting to us. We have a lot more access to the senses and to the enjoyment. So if you start feeling more, sensing more, the taste, the delicious food, like really taste it and express it, like the fragrance, the touch, even like, you know, wearing something soft and like touching yourself, or even depends where you are in the date, you can even touch him a little bit, like it's very connecting to your senses. And it creates lots of oxytocin, which is great for you, for your health, for your hormones. And for him, it also creates this connection and bonding. Okay, what did I put here? So other things that comes with that embodying the queen consciousness, again, the sensuality, connecting to senses. I think I talked about that already. And playful polarity comes from that, because you are allowing yourself to be in your feminine polarity. So that naturally, again, you want to complement, you're present, right? So you're not going from the head, you are present. So you want to complement your date, other people. There is also a trick. There is a trick how to complement a man. But it's not really a trick. It's just understanding how polarity works. He gets attracted to you when he feels more masculine. That's how he starts also bonding. Masculine is giving, feminine is receiving. So for you to receive makes him bond with you. And the complement, if you want to create more attraction with your complement, all compliments are nice, but some can be on that energetic level kind of neutral. If you tell him, oh, you're so tall, right? Something like, oh, it's a nice short. It's not the compliment that complements his masculine quality. So think what kind of compliment you can give to complement his masculine qualities. And what is masculine? It's something he worked for. Because the man, he wants to keep growing. He works for things. He feels really good to work and achieve and be rewarded for that. So if there is something he actually did in his masculine and you compliment that, like maybe his success, he got a deal, or like some closed a deal or whatever, you know what I mean? So complement more of the masculine, maybe even his like strengths and muscles, because he had to work for it at the gym, rather than just his height. He didn't have to work for it. And again, from that state of relaxing to feminine, in your authentic self, like even teasing might come up, that playful contradiction, even disagreement, but it feels differently. It's really not what, it's where it's coming from. A bit of mystery, but again, you don't overthink, oh, how am I gonna be more mysterious? But it comes from that you're not trying to be like, oh, I need to make sure he understands everything about me, or I need to text him right away, or like, no, when you're in your queen energy, you relax. You have all the time in the world. You don't owe anybody any explanation. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to explain anything. So from that comes that space, and that space is mysterious because you have so much. Again, like working with all of those archetypes. So I started to talk about lover, and then okay, let's see what other archetypes we have. We have priestess, or like high priestess, or that feminine that is connected to the divine. We bring that a lot. Again, as a feminine, we connect like with nature, with divinity a lot easier, and we often walk between those two worlds unless we disconnected out of fear, of some pressure, like, but usually we all have this priestess archetype in us. We connected with that divine, with different dimension, and you can definitely bring this into your dating too, right? It just shows up. It's not that you even consciously bring it. So we talked about wild woman, lover, priestess. Who did I mention? Yeah, even warrior. Yes, sometimes you meet him at that level of like, yeah, like you also talk about your achievements sometimes, and that's the warrior. But don't get stuck there, because often it's all women talk about their achievements and what they do at work. um, there are other really fun archetypes, but with those I work more closely, like one-on-one, because there's like that witch archetype, and there is joker archetype, there is that like a trickster. Like we can really embrace and embody different energies, and as a woman, this is the beauty of being a woman. We can really play with all of them, and the more it's interesting for you, the more you're gonna be interested for him, and the more of a higher caliber man you'll attract, because he'll be attracted to all of that like feminine, like, whoa, what is this beautiful energy. Okay, where are we going next? Oh, I said I mentioned that I'm gonna explain how masculine and feminine bond, because there was a question in the last webinar about how men and women bond. I'm just gonna say a couple questions because we're almost out of time. So men bond by investing in you. Women bond, we bond by that connection, feeling seen, feeling heard, expressing our emotions, right? So that intimacy, that oxytocin is rising. So we bond through oxytocin. Men, they need to experience investing in you, because first there is attraction based on dopamine and testosterone, but that doesn't stay. So if we have intimacy right away, that's often why he disappears, because we didn't create the bonding on different levels. So we need to understand how to do that. But in 2 words, it's by welcoming him investing in you, appreciating it, receiving it, not try to give back right away. Understanding that you're receiving it and appreciating it and really enjoying it, that's already his reward. You don't need to do anything else. So yeah, that's the main, and get connected on different levels. So first mentally, right, then get into emotional level, spiritual level, and I would say only then get into that physical intimacy. So that's if you want to create a long-term committed harmonious relationship. There is a way to do dating too, and I also teach it in my Inner Alchemy self-paced course, and of course when I coach as well. It's a specific way of dating, but it's not about just dating one man. This is a big mistake women do. We just fall for one man, and we don't do well with that. Like, we need to date multiple partners. Don't get intimate with them, but get multiple partners, so we actually get a bit distracted, so we don't get too focused, and because we're still gonna have that wounded inner child come up, right? Especially if he pulls away, which sometimes happens naturally. Now I'm going into different topic right now, but that's all again that we can do in coaching, and Inner Alchemy course goes a lot into that as well. Okay, I haven't finished yet talking about the queen level communication. So what do we talk about then on the date? So we don't talk too much. We still talk about it, just not too much about facts, analysis, what happened, right? And don't answer those questions straightforward as well, I would say. Again, I don't want it to be a tactic, but maybe sometime we need to kind of learn about that as well, and maybe catch yourself when we just want to be like, oh, like very straightforward. Relax into your feminine and play. Just play. They will love it, even if they don't say that. But the most important, you will love it. So move to feelings. We already talked about sensations, imagery. So even when he asks you like a straightforward question, instead of just giving him straightforward answer, which is of course correct and polite and logical, but no polarity. Lean into your feminine, relax into your queen, and just like play, allow you, like, what would make me feel fun now, what would be enjoyable, what am I really curious, how do I want to reply, how do I want to tease him, and tease him somehow, or just reply, but not from the level of facts. It's like, I was born here and there, I immigrated, I said, like, apply from the feelings, how it made you feel, what was so exciting, what kind of adventure it was, like, what's kind of story happened there, like, like, bring that juiciness there, because as women we are more connected to that world and they want that, but they don't even know. But that's how they fall in love too, because they feel that feminine energy and they experience more joy and pleasure through you. Okay, so your homework, next time you're on a date or texting, pause before responding. No rush at all. Remember, Queen never rushes, she never waits, she centered in her own worthiness, in her own well-being. She doesn't need anything from the man, but she likes it. So pause before responding. Add a sensory emotional layer. So if at this point you need to train yourself to do it, do so. Like, just play with it. Just add emotional sensory layer to that. And for the date, like, hold that eye contact a little longer. Maybe move your eyes like to his lips and back to his eyes. Yeah. Okay. I put here core shift. So what are we shifting? If just for you again, just to remember, from logic to feelings, from brain to the body, from thoughts to senses, from facts to a bit of mystery. Who cares about those facts? Overestimated? Yeah. From seriousness to playfulness. Playfulness is very deep feminine quality. So we cannot fake it. You have to relax into your feminine and allow yourself to be playful. Here's a bit about different hormones which I started to talk, right? The oxytocin. So for men, yes, it's testosterone and dopamine in the beginning, but what we want him to start getting into more of the vasopressin, and vasopressin is when he actually feels that he's contributing something, he is needed in this relationship, needed in a good way, that he shows up, he brings something to it, he brings value, he feels rewarded. So that's vasopressin. It's a different hormone, nobody talks about that. But just dopamine, testosterone is not going to be enough. And too much of oxytocin, too much of that connection. If you just want to connect with him, that oxytocin, it works for women kind of, but even us, we need break from it. But for men, it actually eventually drops his testosterone. So that's why it's dangerous to be like all the time with the man. You need some space. You need him to come to you. As women, we can make this mistake easily, because for us, oxytocin connection feels natural, and for them, they need to go back and forth. So a man is like elastic band, and women often, if we're in an anxious and a wounded child, when he pulls back a little bit just to kind of reconnect with his testosterone, we might feel that he is abandoning. So it's very different, right? When man just pulls back a little and goes into his cave for a bit, or he's completely, of course, withdrawn. So that all will also dive in deeper into the course and with coaching. So yes, I would love to invite you to my Queen's Alchemy coaching. Feel free to book a call with me. It's a free call. I call it strategy call because you already you'll understand where you're at, and you'll have like understanding what to work on. So next week I'll open just 5 spots for this 30-minute strategy call, so you can book it. You know how to find me anyway, but this is from my website. You can book me there. Just send me a message and we'll talk. Or what I want to offer today as well, so I have a self-paced course which is just $88. What I want to offer with this, everybody who purchases the course, I'll add you to this close WhatsApp group, and it will be only for women who either already coaching with me or bought the course. And in this WhatsApp group, we'll have support. We'll support each other, and I'll be answering there your questions. So if something happening during the week and you having some interesting dating experience, you have some questions, you can put your questions there, and I will answer as much as I can those questions, and we can keep the discussion going. So I feel this community type of support feels right at this point. So if you're feeling it, just get the course. Again, you'll get so much information from the course because it has 4 phases. It has the healing phase, healing of that inner masculine, inner feminine, inner child. It has the phase where we connect with our inner masculine, like working on our boundaries, setting up our standards, all of that. Then there is a phase where we work on the feminine, different feminine practices, and then the last one is stepping into that queen frequency, from wholeness into that embodied femininity. How much is the course? Course is $88, and there is this link is to the course. Again, if you get the course, it's self-paced, you just do it, but we can discuss it in this WhatsApp group. So let's say you listen, it has like 4 lectures and bunch of practices in each phase. So let's say you did a practice and something came up, you can post a question and we'll talk about it. Yeah, so I feel like that would be a great way to work, because I did this course before in a group setting. So it was like 4-week journey, but it was also a bit too intense for some women because it was like a phase for a week, and we all also go into different paces. Some of us need a bit more healing. We want to do more work on this inner child. Some of us already done all this work and ready to jump in. So that's why this new approach feels more, I don't know, just feels better right now. So just the self-paced course, and we'll have this WhatsApp support, which we all come up from different stages, but we can support each other there, and I will support you in that group as well. Okay, so I want to open space for some questions. We're already over time, so if you need to leave, totally understand. And if no questions, then I might also do a bit of, who wants to do a little practice? Okay, either question or practice, or okay, we can do both. I have a little bit more time, but I totally get that we over time. Okay, so questions. All right. This video, I am recording it, I believe. Yes, it's recorded. So yeah. How should you behave if the man lives far away but asks you to come to his city? So if we look from the perspective of the feminine and masculine, just dynamic wise, right? Just the energetic dynamic. There are nuances to these questions, I'm sure, because is he asking you to come to live there or just to visit him? There are so many nuances. Are you already intimate with the man? Like, it's something we might not want to discuss even here, but there's nuances to it. So I just gonna answer it more like generally. So if we look just from the energy perspective of masculine and feminine is receptive. Masculine is the drive, right? Think about an egg and the sperm. Who is coming to whom? The egg is not chasing the sperm. I know I've done that mistake in the past. Like, don't think I'm perfect. I've gone to see a man, and that never turned out well. Never. So I would say, if he wants to be with you, he should courtship you by going to your city. When at some point you decide that you want to be together, live together, take it to the next level, then you both decide what's best for both of you, but already is that family unit. But no, don't go. Even with all sorts of nuances, don't, honestly. Okay. For the first date, what for for the first date, no, definitely not. What should I tell him? Okay, this is like a consulting here. You tell him that you'll be happy to see him at your place, but don't host him at your own house. This is the first date. He's welcome to come visit you, take you on a date, just like you would date a man in your city, no difference. Just because he's in the different city, it doesn't give him permission to not courtship you the proper way. I'm all about proper courtship, dating multiple partners, receptivity, and letting man show up in his best masculine. He's not gonna show up if you just go there. Okay. Any more questions, ladies? No? Okay. So, the practice. Let's just take a couple deep breaths together. I want you to feel the body and just to kind of live in a bit more realigned state. So sit up nice and tall. Feel your seat bones grounded, either you're in the chair or on the floor. Gently reach up through the top of the head and reconnect with deep breath. We'll just do a couple minutes here. Deep breath all the way into the belly. One hand on the belly or on your womb. One hand on your heart. Deep breath. Allow gentle expansion and feel you receiving the breath. You're not forcing it. Gentle, effortless expansion on the inhale. The breath goes all the way into the belly. And exhaling through the heart. Let's do it with a sigh or with the sound. Again, deep inhale. Exhale through the heart. One more time. Take a deep inhale and suspend the breath for a moment. Gently contract your perineum muscle, so we're activating some Kundalini energy. Keep reaching up through the top of the head. Bring your chin slightly in, roll the eyes to the point between the eyebrows. And exhale, relax. We'll do it one more time. This time we'll pump the belly as we hold the breath. Suspend the breath. Gently pump the belly as you hold in the breath. Activating a power center. Exhale through the heart. And now just become as still as you possibly can, observing your state of being, your state of consciousness, observing your body from the inside, how you're feeling. This is state of stillness and observer. This is your own inner masculine. Holding space for yourself, for your emotions, for your feelings. And now allow yourself to soften into it. Feel like you are held. your divine masculine, your inner masculine is holding you. You are protected. You can feel this energetic sphere, cocoon around you, holding you, protecting you. And start allowing your body to soften and relax, connecting with your Shakti energy, rising up from the base of the spine, and allow you moving, gently stretching, staying with the breath, allowing the breath to move you. Feeling this beautiful, perfect dance between your own inner masculine who holds you with so much love, so much devotion, and your inner feminine who is safe to relax, who is feeling loved and chosen and fully met. And she's safe to be herself and to express all of her femininity, all her desires. Give yourself a nice stretch. Reach up, reach up, reach up. And shake it and relax. So this is just a little taste of that inner union type of meditation where we connect to both the divine masculine and divine feminine, and we really rewire in that the love blueprint. Okay, I see a couple more questions. I'll answer those and then we're gonna finish. So I think 5 more minutes, ladies. How to shift the dynamic of an existing relationship all of a sudden? You don't do it all of a sudden, and really it's not about shifting the dynamic right away. Like, you're not working on the relationship, you're working on yourself first, right? It's more about, that's why it's called inner alchemy or queen's alchemy, because it's more about you getting inside of yourself and rewiring, like really getting comfortable in that queen's frequency. And from that state, you'll notice a new inspirations coming in. It's going to be new inspiration, how you talk to your partner, how you express something. And from there, like, he'll feel the change of energy within you, and then you also be inspired into different type of communication, expressing yourself. It's going to be more again from that relaxed feminine embodied state versus from that warrior, right, when you let's talk like to adults, which sometimes has the space but it lacks the polarity. It's very important to have those tools too, like authentic relating or non-violent communication, when you can talk like to adults, but keep in mind you also don't want to be stuck there. If you need to do it, but then come back to that queen and lean back into softness, into feminine, and allow yourself to move with your femininity, because you can talk with him from his head and he'll agree with you that okay, we need to shift something in the relationship, but it's not going to be felt. You want to make him feel, you want yourself to feel it first. So that's how you start embodying it, start feeling it, creating shift from there, and making your alignment and how you feel your priority. It's not about changing him. You're not changing anyone. He will change himself if it's in his alignment. How many men should we date simultaneously? I would say minimum 2. Like, you don't want to date one, that's for sure. Unless you have such a strong inner queen, so anchored that you know you're not gonna be triggered by any of the but it's a lot easier and it's a lot more it helps you a lot more to be in that queen's energy if you date multiple partners, because again, it's just like that egg and sperm, they just swim around and showing up, and you there in your queen energy observing. This is your natural feminine state. The more the better. how I experienced it before I met my current partner. It was more like in a flow. There would be like some of them you just go on one date and you know right away it's not, but you enjoyed some communication before, right? Either like you met them in the gym or dating site or somewhere else, doesn't matter really where you meet them. So, and after one date you might feel like that's not it, some more. So but you go there to enjoy the experience, right? Like you really appreciate whatever like dates you had, like um you're honest, you're not hiding, but you're not also telling him, I'm dating multiple people. If he asks, like, yeah, like why not, like why shouldn't I see other men? That's fine, like until you can at some point explain, like if he's asking you that I only become intimate in a committed relationship. That's how I say that. So how many? It's sometimes it's two, sometimes three, sometimes four, sometimes five. Sometimes they disappear, or even if they all disappear, it doesn't matter because you're in your queen frequency. You already have your own inner masculine, right? So that's the external world, the way it plays out doesn't really matter. But most of the time, when you're in that queen frequency, you'll feel men just like always want to be in touch with you. And even when you're already in a relationship, it's okay to have you don't go on dates with those men anymore, but it's good to have men now, like I call it adoration. Like right now, like now if you go on dates, like it's more courtship circle. When you're in a relationship, you have your adoration circle. It's totally healthy, totally normal to have man who just adores you, admire you, right? Like desire you on some level, but it's very, very supportive for the queen frequency, because the queen, we overflow this love, this feminine beauty. It's not just for one man, like intimately, physically. Yes, it's for one man if that's what you're choosing, that's what I'm choosing. But you still overflow in that feminine energy, and it's good to share it with others from that overflow state. How long is it okay to date more than one person? And is it fine for him to do the same? Okay, let's answer first question first. How long? I would say not less than 3 months before you decide that you are exclusive with somebody and you let go of other partners, because it takes time to get to know a person. It's very easy to show up strong and love bomb too, right? That's why you want to stay relaxed in your queen and observe. He can come in really strong. You want to see him over time and over different situations. But for that, you have to be not anxious and not like, oh, I need this relationship. That shouldn't be your attitude. That's why it's good to have all those men dating you. So 3 months minimum, I would say. Although some of my clients didn't wait for 3 months and they're still okay, but now I'm still coaching them, because now inside the relationship they need to do more of the tweaks. Like the more you do work beforehand, the more you date beforehand without intimacy, the easier it's going to be in a relationship. And the other question, is it fine for him? Well, you cannot tell him not to do it, right? Like that's not your job. But a mature, healthy masculine probably wouldn't do it, because if he sees the woman who he wants to pursue, it's time, it's finances, resources, it's his attention. They are more single pointed, right? This is masculine. They're single focused. Women, we are multitasking. It's good for us. For man, it's not good for him to spread his attention, but he might say like, oh, it's just fair. You do this, I do that. Fine. If he has the resources for that, he can try. But that's why you keep it that way. You see who is actually showing up and ready to pursue you and ready to invest in you. his time, his resources, his help, his presence. That's how you decide, but you cannot tell him not to do it, or um, you're not in the position to tell him what's okay, so he cannot tell you what's okay for you as well, right? At this stage, that's why it's so beautiful to have that stage. Like, it's very valuable. Can an anxiously attached man change if we work on a queen frequency? Yes, definitely. He can. He depends where he is in his journey, of course, as well. But again, it's a reflection and the polarity, right? So if you're anxious, he is an avoidant. Wait, did you say? Oh, and he is anxiously attached. But either way, yes, you are leaning into your feminine, gonna bring him more into his masculine. And if it's too much for him, he's just gonna disappear and another one will show up. Or he'll step into his masculine. I actually see it in some of my friends and clients as well. Man can change from being in his feminine because it was fine for him to be there. But now, as you're leaning into your queen, he either needs to rise into his king or fall away. So yes, he can, and he will really love you even more for that, because a woman inspires a man to grow. Masculine at his natural state, he doesn't want to change anything. He doesn't want to change what works in his mind. But in women's mind, it always can be better, right? So that's how this world works. Women inspire expansion, we desire, and they meet us there. How can you connect with a man if he shows a feminine energy? I think that's kind of what I've been talking about, but also like depends how he shows in his feminine, and are you attracted to it? I would ask myself, why am I attracted to this feminine? I had a partner who actually was really in feminine energy, and in the beginning it was beautiful because he was so sensitive and sensual and very musical and very like attuned to my state, and like, but with time the polarity faded because he probably got attracted because I was in my warrior and my masculine, right? And it was okay for a little bit. But then in a relationship, you naturally start going into your feminine. At least I started to go more in my feminine. And he's in his feminine, and he wasn't ready to step into his masculine. So that relationship had to disappear. So yeah, ask yourself why you attracted a feminine man. I would still just work on my own state, that queen's alchemy, yes, inner alchemy, and how you connect with him. You can connect with him as two girlfriends for sure. How can I bring him into his masculine energy? I just said, by leaning into your feminine, and see how he responds. Express your desires. He might not want that. It's not necessary you will change everybody. I actually only like him physically, but not his feminine energy. If you just like his physically, it also means that you are in your masculine. Ooh, I know. Because women, when we are relaxed in a feminine, healthy feminine, we actually don't get attracted just to physical body. This is more masculine. That's how men attract. They just see visual, boom, they attracted. They know right away if they want to sleep with you, not marry you, not be in a relationship. For women, we sometimes think that we do that as well, but we actually read a lot more. We think we're attracted physically, but we're actually attracted mentally. We need to know that he's not dumb. Minimum, right? We actually get attracted how smart he is, like those masculine qualities. So, but some women these days are attracted just to the physical, and that means that you are in your masculine. Okay. All right, last question. So happy actually that you asking so many great questions, ladies. Um, are all your offerings on your website? Yes, yes. There is the course. At this point, it's the self-paced course, and there is mentorship. You can find it there. How direct we can be with our intention, emotion? This is a deep question. It depends what stage of dating experience or relationship experience you're in. Not at the first phase of dating, I wouldn't get too much into expressing my emotions. Not like, no, good emotions you can express, but talking about like expressing like deep wounding, your like childhood trauma, all of that, like, no. A good man will be able to hold space for everything you have, but gradually. Okay, there is a stage of dating and like progression in relationship where you can become more intimate and start expressing that, and he will naturally start holding space, and it will create more intimacy. But if you do it too early, it can break things, because he's just not ready. He hasn't created that capacity yet. It's a deep question. It's hard to answer it like this, but again, it depends where you are on the journey. In relationship, there is such a thing that I teach. It's called Venus talk. It's specifically when a man holds space for you, and it actually really creates beautiful attraction, because that expression of your emotion with him just holding space, not fixing you, not judging you, not telling you what to do, just holding you and listening to you, it's beautiful practice to create polarity, but also for you to heal, and for him to heal his masculine. But it's a big topic. So short answer, very gradually. That's why you need your queen energy, so you actually hold space for your own emotions. You need to be able to do it before asking him to do it. Intention, if your intention is monogamous relationship, be clear about it right away. You don't jump anywhere. You don't say that's with him. You just say you're looking for committed monogamous relationship. Yes, he has to know this right away. Know this like wishy-washy, let's see where things go. I mean, you are seeing where things go, but you know what you want, and he knows that. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for the insights. Thank you. You're welcome, ladies. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. I feel like collectively, women, that's what we need the most these days. It's really to step into the queen's frequency, because we cannot wait for men to do that. It cannot be happen. If you understood this tantric explanation that I gave, the masculine can only be invited, inspired into this new frequency, right? So we need to rise into that queen's frequency first, and then they meet us there. All right, you're welcome, my dears, and I'll send you, of course, the recording, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.